Have you ever stood in a supermarket aisle, your mind completely blank, staring at a wall of products you can't name, while the simple phrase you desperately need just vanishes? That feeling of panic, of being a ghost in a world of fluent shoppers? I have. I remember my first time alone in a giant foreign supermarket. I needed ground coffee, but the word ground was gone. I stood there for 10 minutes, just looking at bags of beans, feeling my face get hot. I ended up buying whole beans and a cheap grinder I didn't know how to use. It was frustrating and honestly, a little embarrassing. If you've ever felt that way, then this podcast, Easy English for Everyday Life, is for you. Welcome, I'm your host, and today we are conquering the supermarket together. This isn't about complex grammar or fancy vocabulary. This is about survival and success. We're going to learn the simple, powerful phrases that will transform your supermarket trip from a stressful test into a confident, even enjoyable, experience. By the end of this episode, you will have a complete toolkit of English for the supermarket, from finding what you need to checking out with a smile. No more panic. No more guessing. Just clear, simple, effective communication. Let's start at the very beginning, the entrance. You walk in, you grab a cart or a basket. A cart is the large metal thing on wheels, also called a trolley in some countries. A basket is the handheld one. Your first mission is to find your items. But what if you can't see them? You don't need to know every single word. You just need to know how to ask. The most important phrase you will ever use is, "Excuse me, where can I find the?" Let's practice that. Excuse me, where can I find the? It's polite, it's clear, and it works every single time. You can fill in the blank with almost anything. Let's try it with some common items. Excuse me, where can I find the milk? Milk is usually at the back of the store in the dairy section. Excuse me, where can I find the bread? Bread is often in a bakery section. Excuse me, where can I find the apples? Apples are in the produce section, where they keep fruits and vegetables. See? You don't need to say produce section or dairy aisle. You just name the item. The employee will understand. But what if you don't know the exact word for what you want? That's okay. You can describe it. For example, maybe you need baking soda, but you can't remember the name. You could say, "Excuse me, I'm looking for the white powder used for baking and cleaning." That is a perfect description. The employee will almost certainly say, "Oh, you mean baking soda?" Aisle 7. You see? You don't have to be perfect. You just have to communicate. Now, let's move to one of the most intimidating places in the supermarket for an English learner, the deli counter. This is where they sell sliced meats and cheeses. It can feel like a high-pressure situation because you have to talk to a person, specify what you want, and sometimes there's a line of people behind you waiting. But don't worry. We have a simple formula. First, wait for your turn. The employee will usually say, "Who's next?" or just "next." When it's your turn, step up and use our magic phrase from before, but with a small change. Say, "Hi, can I please get," this is polite and clear. Then, you need to specify 3 things, the product, the amount, and how you want it sliced. Let's practice with turkey. You would say, "Hi, can I please get some turkey?" Now, for the amount. In the United States, they use pounds. A pound is about 450 grams. So you can say half a pound, or 1 pound, or 200 grams if the scale shows metric. Then, for the slicing, you can say slice thin or slice thick. So, the complete sentence is, "Hi, can I please get half a pound of turkey, slice thin?" Perfect. Let's try another one with cheese. "Hi, can I please get 200 grams of cheddar cheese, slice thick?" See? It's the same pattern. Product, amount, slice. If you don't care about the slicing, you can just say, "Hi, can I please get 1 pound of ham?" It's that simple. The employee will handle the rest. You can even point if you see something you like behind the glass. "Can I please get some of that salami?" Pointing is completely okay and very helpful. After the deli, let's tackle the produce section, the place with all the fruits and vegetables. Here, you often need to weigh your items. You see the scales with the plastic bags? You put your fruits or vegetables in the bag, place it on the scale, and you need to type in a code. But sometimes, you can't find the code. What do you do? Again, just ask. Find an employee and say, "Excuse me, what is the code for grapes?" or "I can't find the code for avocados." They will help you immediately. This is a very common question, so don't be shy. Another useful phrase here is for when you want a specific quantity. For example, if you only want 2 apples, you can just take them. But if you want a specific amount that's already packaged, you can ask. Let's say you see a bag of 6 apples, but you only want 3. You can find an employee and ask, "Excuse me, can I take 3 apples from this bag?" Usually, the answer is yes. It's a simple question that gives you exactly what you need. Moving on from the produce section, let's talk about the meat counter. It can seem very similar to the deli, but here we are usually buying raw meat like chicken, beef, or fish. The process is almost the same. You use our golden phrase, "Hi, can I please get?" But now, we need to specify the cut of meat. A cut is the specific part of the animal, like chicken breast or ground beef. For example, let's say you want to make burgers. You would say, "Hi, can I please get 1 pound of ground beef?" If you want chicken, you could say, "Hi, can I please get 4 chicken breasts?" You don't always need to specify the cut if you see a pre-packaged item you like. You can simply point and say, "Can I get that package of salmon, please?" Another useful word here is lean. Lean means there is not much fat. So, if you want ground beef with less fat, you can ask, "Do you have lean ground beef?" This is a fantastic question that shows you are specific about what you want. The employee might direct you to a different package or a different section of the counter. Remember, it's always okay to point. If you see a steak that looks good, you can say, "I'd like that one, please." Now, you have all your items. Your cart is full. It's time for the final challenge, the checkout. This is where many people feel nervous because the interaction is fast. But I will give you the script. It's very predictable. First, you go to a checkout lane. The cashier will usually greet you with a simple, "Hi, how are you today?" You don't need to give a long story. A simple, "I'm good, thanks. How are you?" is a perfect, polite response. Then, they will start scanning your items. You will see a screen with the prices. In many stores, you will be asked a very important question: do you need any bags, or would you like a bag? Your answer can be, yes, please, or no, thank you. Sometimes, you have to pay a small fee for bags. Another common question is about membership cards. They might ask, do you have our rewards card? If you have one, you say yes and give it to them or say your phone number. If you don't, you simply say, no, I don't. While they are scanning, you might have a few items in the bottom of your cart. The cashier might ask, is that everything? You can say, yes, that's all. Or if you have more items in the cart, you can say, there are a few more things in the cart, and you can start handing them the other items. This is a very common interaction. The cashier has scanned all your items. Now, it's time to pay. This is a very straightforward process, but knowing the phrases will make you feel completely in control. The cashier will tell you the total amount. They will say something like, your total is $42.50. This means $42.50. They might just say the numbers quickly. If you didn't hear it clearly, it is perfectly okay to ask, could you repeat the total, please? Then, you state your payment method. This is a key moment. You have several options. If you are paying with cash, you simply say, I'm paying with cash, and hand them the money. If you are using a card, you say, I'll pay with card. Sometimes they will ask, credit or debit? You can answer with either. In most places, you just tap or insert your card yourself, so you don't need to hand it to the cashier. Another very common option is a mobile payment like Apple Pay or Google Pay. If you are using this, you can say, I'm using phone pay, or I'll pay with my phone. The cashier will usually direct you to the card reader machine. They might say, just tap it on the screen. A useful phrase to know if the machine isn't working is, it's not reading my card. The cashier will then guide you to try again or use a different method. But what if you have a problem? What if an item doesn't have a price tag? This happens to everyone. If the cashier is scanning and can't find a price, they might call another employee. But if you notice it before you get to the checkout, you can ask any employee. Hold the item and say, excuse me, could you tell me the price for this, or this doesn't have a price tag? They can check for you with a small device they carry or take you to a price scanner. Another common situation is a discount that doesn't apply. You see a sign that says buy one, get one free, but at the register, you are charged for both. You can point this out politely. Say, excuse me, I think this should be on sale. The sign said buy one, get one free. The cashier will usually apologize and correct the price. It's not a problem, it happens all the time. The key is to be polite and state what you saw. You've paid successfully and you've left the store. Congratulations! But what happens if you get home and realize there's a problem? Maybe you were charged for an item you didn't buy, or you discover the milk you bought is expired. Don't worry, you can handle this too. The key is to go back to the customer service desk, which is usually located at the front of the store. Let's start with the most common issue, a mistake on the receipt. You get home, look at the receipt, and see you were charged for 2 bags of chips when you only bought 1. The next day, you go back to the store with the receipt and the item you didn't buy. You go to the customer service desk and say, hello, I think there was a mistake on my receipt yesterday. I was charged for this bag of chips, but I only bought 1. Then, you show them the receipt and the item. They will usually apologize and give you a refund. The word refund means getting your money back. Another common problem is finding a product that is expired or spoiled. For example, you open the yogurt and it looks bad, or you check the bread and it has mold. You should take the product and your receipt back to the store. You can say, "Excuse me, I bought this yogurt yesterday, and it's already expired." Or, "This bread is moldy." The important word here is expired, which means past the safe date, or spoiled and moldy, which describe the bad condition. The store will almost always say, "I'm so sorry," and offer you a new one or a refund. Sometimes, you simply change your mind about a product. You bought a shirt, but when you get home, you decide you don't like the color. Most supermarkets have a return policy. You can take the item, with the receipt, to customer service and say, "Hi, I'd like to return this, please." They might ask, "Is there anything wrong with it?" You can say, "No, I just changed my mind." They will process the return and give you your money back. Sometimes you can also exchange an item. That means you get a different item instead of money. You can say, "I'd like to exchange this for a different size," or "Can I exchange this for the blue one?" Remember to always keep your receipt if you think you might need to return something. It is your proof of purchase. Without it, returning an item can be very difficult. So, a small plastic folder or a section in your wallet for receipts is a very good idea. It saves a lot of trouble later. Now, let's go back to the shopping experience itself and talk about a skill that will make you sound very natural, using small talk. Small talk is the polite, brief conversation we have with strangers. In the supermarket, it's not necessary, but it can make your experience more pleasant and is great practice. You might be in the same aisle as another person, both looking for something. You can smile and say, "They always move things around, don't they?" This is a friendly joke that many people will understand. They might laugh and say, "I know, I can never find anything." Another opportunity is in the checkout line. The cashier might make a comment about your items. If you are buying a lot of vegetables, they might say, "Making a big salad?" You can simply smile and say, "Yes, a big one." Or if you are buying something interesting, like a special ingredient, they might ask, "What are you making with this?" This is a fantastic chance to practice a simple sentence. "I'm trying a new pasta recipe." You don't need to have a long conversation. A short, friendly answer is perfect. If you drop something and someone picks it up for you, remember to say, "Thank you so much." If you accidentally block the aisle with your cart, and someone says, "Excuse me," you can move it and say, "I'm so sorry," or "Go ahead." These little phrases are the glue of everyday polite interaction. They make you feel like a part of the community, not just a visitor. Let's also talk about understanding announcements. Sometimes, you will hear a voice over the loudspeaker. It can be hard to understand because of the sound quality. They might be calling for a price check, or announcing a special offer, or even calling for a specific employee. Clean up on aisle 6 means someone needs to go to aisle 6 to clean a spill. If you hear an announcement and you don't understand it, don't worry. Most native speakers don't understand them either. It is not important for your shopping. Just continue with what you are doing. If the announcement was something important for you, like your lost wallet was found, they would find another way to tell you. The most important thing to remember is that everyone is focused on their own shopping. They are not listening to you or judging your English. The employees are there to help you, and the other shoppers are just thinking about their own lists. This freedom to practice without pressure is one of the best things about using a supermarket as your English classroom. Let's move beyond the basics and talk about handling special situations. What if you have specific dietary needs? This is very common, and knowing how to ask about it is incredibly useful. For example, if you are looking for gluten-free products, you can ask an employee, "Excuse me, where is your gluten-free section, or do you have any gluten-free bread?" The term gluten-free is widely understood. Similarly, if you are looking for dairy-free alternatives like almond milk or lactose-free yogurt, you can use the same structure. "Where can I find dairy-free milk, or do you carry lactose-free cheese?" Another important dietary term is organic. This refers to food grown without synthetic pesticides. If you prefer organic fruits and vegetables, you can ask, "Which of these apples are organic, or do you have an organic section?" The employees will be able to point you to the right place. Don't be shy about these questions. Supermarkets are used to catering to all kinds of dietary preferences, and your inquiry is completely normal. Now, let's tackle a modern supermarket feature, the self-checkout machine. These kiosks can be intimidating because you interact with a computer, but the language is very simple and repetitive. The screen will give you clear instructions. It will say, "Scan your first item." You simply pick up an item, find the barcode, the black and white lines, and point it at the red laser light. You will hear a beep. The machine might say things like, "Place the item in the bagging area." This is the scale where you put your bags. It weighs your items to make sure you are scanning everything. If you get an error message, don't panic. A common message is, "Unexpected item in the bagging area." This means the weight doesn't match what the computer expects. The solution is simple. Look at the screen and it will say, "Please wait for assistance," or give you a button to press that says, "I need help." An employee will come over quickly. You can just point to the screen and say, "It says there's an unexpected item." They will fix it in seconds. It happens to everyone, all the time. If you have an item without a barcode, like a loose fruit, the machine will prompt you to select item from list. You then touch the screen on the picture of a fruit or vegetable, for example, and then place it on the scale. The machine does the rest. The key is to take it slowly. There is no time limit at self-checkout. You can go at your own pace. Let's talk about a few more specific scenarios that can really boost your confidence. First, coupons. Coupons are small pieces of paper or digital codes that give you a discount. If you have a paper coupon, you hand it to the cashier before you pay. You can say, "I have a coupon for the cereal." Sometimes, you need to download a digital coupon to your store loyalty card. If you're unsure if it worked, you can ask the cashier, "I have a digital coupon for the chicken, will it apply automatically?" They can check for you. Another situation involves children. If you are shopping with a child and they get separated from you, this is every parent's fear. Find an employee immediately. You can say, "I can't find my son. He's wearing a red shirt and blue pants." The employee will call for help over the loudspeaker. They will say something like, "Code Adam," which is a secret code in many stores for a missing child. It's a serious situation, but the staff is trained to help. To prevent this, you can use the phrase with your child, "Stay close to me, please." Or if they are running, "Please don't run." What if you see someone who needs help? Maybe an elderly person can't reach an item on a high shelf. You can offer help by saying, "Excuse me, can I help you with that?" or "Let me get that for you." This is a kind gesture and more great practice. If you are the one who needs help reaching something, you can ask another shopper or an employee, "Excuse me, could you please help me get that box from the top shelf?" Finally, let's discuss what to do if your payment method fails. Your card might be declined. This is embarrassing, but it happens to everyone for many reasons. The cashier will usually say quietly, "Your card was declined. Do you have another form of payment?" Stay calm. You can say, "Oh, let me try a different card." Or if you only have that one, you might have to put some items back. You can say, "I'm sorry, I'll need to put a few things back then." The cashier understands. It is not a personal reflection on you. It's a common technical issue. The key is to remain polite and calm, and it will be resolved quickly. Remember, the supermarket is a microcosm of the community. Every interaction, from helping someone to handling a small crisis, is an opportunity to use your English in a real, meaningful way. Embrace these moments. They are what will transform your language skills from textbook perfect to life ready. We have covered so much ground together, from the anxious moment at the entrance to the confident stride out the door with your groceries. We've navigated the deli counter, the produce scales, the checkout lane, and even the customer service desk. You now have a powerful toolkit of phrases for finding items, asking for help, making small talk, and handling problems. But I want to leave you with the most important lesson of all, one that goes beyond any single phrase. Your goal is not to speak perfect English. Your goal is to communicate effectively. There is a huge difference. If you say, "Where is milk?" instead of "Where can I find the milk?" you will still find the milk. If you mix up thick and thin at the deli counter, you will still get sliced meat. The world will not end. The employee will not laugh. They will understand you because your intention is clear. I think back to my own experience with the coffee beans. If I had just pointed to a bag and asked, "Coffee, ground?" I would have gotten what I needed. My mistake was not a vocabulary mistake, it was a confidence mistake. I was so afraid of being wrong that I became a ghost. I don't want that for you. The phrases you've learned today are your framework, your safety net. But within that net, you have the freedom to experiment, to make mistakes, and to learn. So, on your next supermarket trip, I want you to try one new thing. Maybe it's using the self-checkout for the first time. Maybe it's asking a simple question like, "Where are the eggs?" even if you already see them. Maybe it's just smiling and saying, "Have a good day," to the cashier. Celebrate that small victory. That is real progress. That is how you build fluency, one simple, brave interaction at a time. Let's shift our focus to a fun and rewarding part of the supermarket, the seasonal sections. These are the areas that change for holidays like Halloween, Christmas, or Easter. They are filled with special decorations, candies, and themed items. This is a fantastic place to learn new, specific vocabulary in a visual way. You can walk through the aisle and name what you see: a pumpkin, a costume, fake spiderwebs, colored eggs. If you see something you don't recognize, it's the perfect chance to ask a fellow shopper. You can point and say, "Excuse me, what is this called?" Most people are happy to share the name of a fun, festive item. Another key area is the clearance or reduced section. This is where you find items at a lower price, often because they are close to their expiration date or the packaging is damaged. You might see a sticker that says 50% off or manager special. This is a great way to save money. If you're unsure why an item is discounted, you can ask an employee, "Why is this on clearance?" They might tell you it's because the box is dented, which is fine if you're using the product right away. A useful phrase here is, "Are there any more of these in the back?" Sometimes, the last few discounted items are on the shelf, but it never hurts to ask. Now, imagine you're looking for a specific brand of a product, but you can't see it. Instead of just asking where the ketchup is, you can be more specific. You can say, "Excuse me, do you carry Heinz ketchup?" The word carry here means to sell or to have in stock. This is a more advanced question that can get you exactly what you want. The employee might say, "Yes, it's in aisle 5, or "No, I'm sorry, we only have the store brand." This interaction is efficient and shows a strong command of everyday shopping language. Similarly, if you are looking for a specific size, you can ask about that too. For example, if you need a large bottle of shampoo but only see small ones, you can ask, "Do you have this in a larger size, or is there a family-size bottle of this?" This phrase, "Do you have this in a," is incredibly versatile. You can use it for sizes, colors, or even different flavors. Do you have this cereal in a smaller box, or do you have this shirt in a medium? It empowers you to find the perfect product for your needs. Moving deeper into the store, we find the pharmacy and household goods aisles. This section can involve more specific language, especially concerning health. Let's start with the pharmacy counter itself. If you need to pick up a prescription, you walk up to the counter and say, "Hi, I'm here to pick up a prescription for," your name. The pharmacist might ask for your date of birth or your address to confirm your identity. This is standard procedure for safety. You can simply answer, "It's your birthday," or "My address is," your address. Now, what if you have a minor ailment and need an over-the-counter medicine? This is where descriptive skills are vital. You don't always need to know the exact medical term. For example, if you have a headache, you can ask, "What do you recommend for a headache?" The pharmacist will point you to pain relievers like aspirin or ibuprofen. If you have a cough, you can describe it, "I have a dry cough," or "I have a cough with mucus." This helps them recommend the right type of cough syrup. Words like dry, chesty, sore throat, and stuffy nose are very useful here. Beyond medicine, this area has vitamins and supplements. You might be looking for vitamin C or fish oil. You can ask, "Where are your vitamins?" or be more specific, "Do you have vitamin D supplements?" If you're unsure about the difference between two products, it's perfectly okay to ask, "What's the difference between these two?" The staff is knowledgeable and can explain that one might be a higher dose or a different form, like capsules versus gummies. Let's also talk about the household cleaning aisle. This is a great place to learn verbs related to cleaning. You might need something to clean the floor, to wash windows, to disinfect surfaces, or to do the laundry. If you're looking for a specific product, like bleach, you can ask for it by name. If you're not sure, you can describe the job. "I'm looking for a product to remove hard water stains from the shower." This detailed description will almost certainly lead you to the right product, like a lime remover or a specific cleaning spray. Remember, the goal is to solve a problem, and your descriptive English is the key to finding the solution. Moving deeper into the store, we find the pharmacy and household goods aisles. This section can involve more specific language, especially concerning health. Let's start with the pharmacy counter itself. If you need to pick up a prescription, you walk up to the counter and say, "Hi, I'm here to pick up a prescription for your name." The pharmacist might ask for your date of birth or your address to confirm your identity. This is standard procedure for safety. You can simply answer, "It's your birthday," or "My address is your address." Now, what if you have a minor ailment and need an over-the-counter medicine? This is where descriptive skills are vital. You don't always need to know the exact medical term. For example, if you have a headache, you can ask, "What do you recommend for a headache?" The pharmacist will point you to pain relievers like aspirin or ibuprofen. If you have a cough, you can describe it, "I have a dry cough," or "I have a cough with mucus." This helps them recommend the right type of cough syrup. Words like dry, chesty, sore throat, and stuffy nose are very useful here. Beyond medicine, this area has vitamins and supplements. You might be looking for vitamin C or fish oil. You can ask, "Where are your vitamins?" or be more specific, "Do you have vitamin D supplements?" If you're unsure about the difference between two products, it's perfectly okay to ask, "What's the difference between these two?" The staff is knowledgeable and can explain that one might be a higher dose or a different form, like capsules versus gummies. Let's also talk about the household cleaning aisle. This is a great place to learn verbs related to cleaning. You might need something to clean the floor, to wash windows, to disinfect surfaces, or to do the laundry. If you're looking for a specific product, like bleach, you can ask for it by name. If you're not sure, you can describe the job. "I'm looking for a product to remove hard water stains from the shower." This detailed description will almost certainly lead you to the right product, like a lime remover or a specific cleaning spray. Remember, the goal is to solve a problem, and your descriptive English is the key to finding the solution. The bakery section is another place where you can practice detailed and descriptive language. The smell of fresh bread is wonderful, but it can also be overwhelming if you aren't sure how to ask for what you want. Let's break it down. You will often see two types of items, ones that are already pre-packaged in bags, and others that are loose in bins or behind the counter. For the items behind the counter, the process is very similar to the deli. You can use our trusted phrase, "Can I please get?" and then be specific. For example, "Can I please get a loaf of sourdough bread?" A loaf is the whole, uncut bread. If you want it sliced, you can add, "Can you slice it for me, please?" They will usually ask how thick you want the slices. You can say, "Thick slices, please," or "Thin slices, please." But what if you don't want a whole loaf? Many bakeries sell half loaves or even individual rolls. You can ask, "Do you sell half loaves, or can I get just 2 of those dinner rolls?" This is a great way to avoid waste if you are shopping for 1 or 2 people. If you see a pastry you like but don't know the name, you can point and say, "Can I have 2 of those, please?" while pointing to the chocolate-covered croissants. Now, for the pre-packaged items on the shelves. You might want to check for something specific, like ingredients or the expiration date. If you are looking for whole grain bread, you can pick up a package and look at the label. If you can't find what you need, you can ask an employee in the bakery, "Excuse me, which one of these breads is whole wheat?" They will be able to guide you. Another common question is about sweetness or seeds. Is this bread sweet, or does this bread have nuts in it? Are important questions for dietary reasons or personal preference. Don't forget about the sweet treats. The bakery is also home to cakes, cookies, and pies. If you are ordering a cake for a special occasion, you can say, "I'd like to order a birthday cake." They will then ask you a series of questions about size, flavor, and decoration. You can answer with simple phrases, "a small chocolate cake with vanilla frosting," and write "Happy Birthday, Anna" on it. They will guide you through the entire process, so you don't need to know all the vocabulary beforehand. Now, let's navigate the frozen food aisle. This section is a lifesaver for quick meals, but it comes with its own set of challenges. The doors are cold and often foggy, and the items can look very similar. The key vocabulary here revolves around the state of the food. Everything here is frozen. You'll be looking for frozen vegetables, frozen pizzas, frozen dinners, or ice cream. A very common problem in this aisle is freezer burn. If you see a package covered in a thick layer of frosty ice crystals, that is freezer burn. It means the food has been in the freezer for too long or the package was not sealed properly. The food is usually safe to eat, but the quality and taste are not good. If you pick up a bag of peas and it feels like a solid block of ice, it's likely freezer burned. It's better to choose a different package. You can say to yourself, "This one has freezer burn. I won't buy it." Another useful word is frost-free. This is a feature of modern freezers, but you might see it on packaging. More importantly, when you are looking for a specific item, you might have to dig through a pile of boxes. It's perfectly acceptable to carefully move items to see what's behind them. If an employee sees you, they might ask, "Can I help you find something?" You can respond, "I'm just looking for the frozen spinach. Do you know which row it's in?" They will often open the door and find it for you quickly. When you read the labels on frozen food, pay attention to cooking instructions. They use phrases like oven bake, microwave on high, or pan fry from frozen. Understanding these phrases is crucial for preparing the food correctly. Also, note the words "keep frozen." This is a reminder not to let the food thaw before you cook it. If you are unsure how long something can be stored, you can check the best before date printed on the package. Remember, the goal is to get your frozen items home and into your own freezer as quickly as possible to maintain their quality. The international foods aisle is a fantastic place for language exploration. This section is where the supermarket stocks products from around the world, and it's a treasure trove of new vocabulary. You might see items labeled Mexican, Asian, Italian, or Indian. This is your chance to learn words for ingredients you may have never encountered before. If you are looking for something specific for a recipe, like soy sauce, you can ask, "Excuse me, where is the Asian food section?" "I'm looking for soy sauce." This directs the employee to the right part of the aisle. Often, you will find products where the packaging is in a different language. Don't let this intimidate you. You can look for key English words on the label, like hot, sweet, spicy, noodles, or sauce. If you're unsure what a product is, you can ask a fellow shopper who might be in that section. You could say, "Excuse me, do you know what this is?" People who shop in the international aisle are often passionate about the food and are usually very happy to explain. This is also where you might find specific dietary staples for various cultures. For example, you might see bags of different types of rice like jasmine or basmati, or different kinds of beans and lentils. If a recipe calls for black beans, and you can't find them in the regular bean section, the international aisle is a good place to check. You can ask an employee, "Do you carry black beans? I couldn't find them in the canned goods aisle." Another important aspect of this aisle is understanding different dietary labels that are common in other cultures. You might see the words halal or kosher. Halal refers to food prepared according to Islamic law, and kosher refers to food prepared according to Jewish law. If these are important for your diet, you can ask, "Where are your halal products?" or "Is this meat kosher?" These are specific and important questions, and the store employees will know exactly what you are asking for. It's a perfect example of how a single, precise word can communicate a complex idea perfectly. Let's venture into the beverage aisle. This section can be surprisingly complex, with its wall of choices ranging from water and soda to coffee and tea. The key here is to know how to ask about preferences and specifics. For instance, if you are looking for a specific type of soda but only see cola, you can ask an employee, "Do you have any ginger ale?" or "Where can I find a root beer?" If you're looking for something sugar-free, that's the term to use. "I'm looking for sugar-free lemonade." Coffee is another area with its own vocabulary. You might be looking for ground coffee, whole beans, decaf, which is short for decaffeinated, or instant coffee. If you're unsure about the strength, you can ask, "Which of these is a dark roast?" or "Can you recommend a mild coffee?" Tea has similar distinctions. You can ask for black tea, green tea, herbal tea, or specific brands. If you have a sore throat, you might look for chamomile or peppermint tea, and you can ask, "Which tea is good for a sore throat?" Now, let's talk about water. It seems simple, but you have choices like spring water, purified water, or mineral water. You also have to choose between sparkling or still. Sparkling water has bubbles, still water does not. You might ask, "Where is the sparkling water?" or point to a bottle and say, "Is this still or sparkling?" If you are buying for a party, you might need a large size. Do you have large bottles of water, like 1-gallon sizes? A useful phrase in this aisle, and throughout the store, is "on sale." If you see a sign that says "Buy 2, get 1 free" on soda, you can confirm, "Are these on sale?" while holding the item. The employee will say yes or no. Another common sign is "Limit 4 per customer." This means you cannot buy more than 4 of that specific sale item. It's important to notice these signs to avoid any confusion at the checkout. Remember, the beverage aisle is about choice, and your growing English skills are what will help you navigate those choices perfectly, ensuring you leave with exactly the drink you wanted. The dairy aisle is a cornerstone of the supermarket, but it can also be a source of confusion with its many similar-looking cartons and tubs. Let's clarify the key terms. You have milk, which comes in varieties like whole milk, 2%, skim milk which has almost no fat, and lactose-free milk. You also have cream, which is much thicker. Then there are products like yogurt, butter, eggs, and cheese. A common point of confusion is the difference between cream cheese and whipping cream. They are used for very different purposes. Cream cheese is a solid spread for bagels, while whipping cream is a liquid that you beat to make desserts. If you are unsure, you can ask, "What's the difference between sour cream and cream cheese?" Another tricky one is buttermilk. It's not actually buttery, it's a tiny liquid used in baking. When you're looking for eggs, you'll notice they are categorized by size. You will see labels like large, extra large, or jumbo. Most recipes call for large eggs. You might also see terms like cage-free, free-range, or organic. These describe how the chickens were raised. If you have a preference, you can look for these words on the carton. A very useful phrase in the dairy aisle is this. This helps you confirm what you're holding. For example, if you're looking for plain yogurt but all the containers have fruit pictures, you can ask an employee, "Excuse me, is this plain yogurt?" while showing them the container. They can quickly tell you yes or no. Another great question is, when is the expiration date on this, or is this fresh, while holding a container of milk? They can check the date for you or even bring you a carton from the back that has a later date. This is a normal request and ensures you get the freshest product possible. Don't be afraid to ask for the best one, it's your right as a customer. Now, let's turn our attention to the canned goods aisle. This is a section of long-lasting, non-perishable items, and it's a great place to practice vocabulary for staples like beans, soups, and vegetables. The word canned is key here. You will be looking for canned tomatoes, canned tuna, canned soup, or canned beans. A synonym you might see is tinned, which means the same thing. A very useful skill here is asking for a specific type within a category. For example, not all canned tomatoes are the same. You might need diced tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, or whole peeled tomatoes. If a recipe calls for one type and you only see another, you can ask an employee, "Do you have diced tomatoes? I only see whole ones here." This specific question is much more effective than a general one. Another common item is soup. You might want chicken noodle soup or tomato soup. But what if you are looking for a low-sodium option? This is an important health consideration. Sodium is the scientific word for salt. You can ask, "Do you have low-sodium soups?" or look for the words low sodium or no salt added directly on the label. This is a powerful phrase that shows you are making informed choices. When you're examining a can, you might be concerned about the ingredients. You can ask a simple question to a nearby shopper or employee if you're unsure. For instance, "Excuse me, does this canned corn have any sugar in it?" Most people are happy to help you read the label. Also, pay attention to the can's condition. If you see a can that is badly dented, especially on the top or bottom seam, or if it is bulging, do not buy it. You can say to yourself, "This can is damaged. I'll choose a different one." This is a matter of safety, as a damaged can allow bacteria to grow inside. It's a small but important act of checking for quality that every savvy shopper does. The center aisles of the supermarket are often home to dry goods like pasta, rice, and baking supplies. This is where you'll find the building blocks for countless meals. Let's start with pasta and rice. The word pasta covers many shapes: spaghetti, penne, macaroni. If you're looking for a specific shape, you can ask, "Where can I find the lasagna noodles?" or "Do you have elbow macaroni?" Rice has its own varieties: white rice, brown rice, jasmine rice, basmati rice. A helpful phrase here is, "Which rice is best for fried rice?" Employees often know these details and can guide you. Next, the baking aisle. This can be intimidating with its many white powders and extracts. The key items are flour, sugar, baking soda, baking powder, and vanilla extract. It's crucial not to confuse baking soda with baking powder, as they are not interchangeable. If you're unsure, you can ask, "Is this baking soda or baking powder?" while pointing to the box. Another useful question is about substitutions. "If I don't have baking powder, what can I use?" This might lead them to suggest a combination of baking soda and cream of tartar. You will also see many types of sugar: granulated sugar, powdered sugar, which is also called confectioner's sugar, and brown sugar. If a recipe calls for light brown sugar and you only see dark, you can ask, is light brown sugar the same as dark brown sugar? The employee might explain that dark brown sugar has a stronger molasses flavor. This kind of interaction not only gets you the right product but also deepens your understanding of cooking terminology. Finally, let's consider the condiments and sauces aisle. This is where language for flavor comes alive. You'll find ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, soy sauce, and hot sauce. If you're looking for a specific flavor profile, you can describe it. I'm looking for a spicy Asian chili sauce, or do you have a mild salsa? This descriptive approach is highly effective when the exact name escapes you. Remember, the goal in these center aisles is to equip yourself for cooking. By mastering the vocabulary for these staples, you empower yourself to follow any recipe and create delicious meals with confidence.